How's it going, guys? I'm Jared and welcome back to Talking Points. Now, I do have to apologize. At one point, this show was more about the issues affecting games like fanboys or lack of import availability, but lately it seems like the issues affecting games have less to do with the games themselves and more to do with the opinions of a very vocal and very pissed off minority in the scene. For those of you who aren't sure what you're in for, this video is going to discuss my opinions on the topic of sexism in video games, and just like my other Talking Points videos, I want to make it clear that both criticism and support for my opinions are indeed welcome in the comment section. However, I do ask that no matter what your position is on the subject, that you stay respectful of everyone else, including the opposition. Okay, with that out of the way, let's dive right in. So, sexism. In society at large, I think we can all agree that while amazing strides have been made, many women still experience some form of sexism, whether it be in the workplace or in their own social life. Now, I don't think anyone is going to say it's okay to mistreat someone based on their sex, but the question remains, is sexism just as prevalent an issue in gaming? In short, I don't believe so. Now, what I'm about to say is going to piss a lot of people off, but I ask that you please hear me out. Sexism, as it is described by many of its opponents, is not an issue in video games, and what I mean to say is that sexist ideals are not being pushed by the games themselves and by extension, their developers. And just to be clear, today we're only going to be touching on the topic of sexism in the games themselves, and not within the gaming scene. This is a broad subject, and I'm going to need to attack it in pieces if I ever hope to really explain it well. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Well, surely sexism is being pushed on gamers. I mean, look at this. These women are all half naked. They're being paraded around like sex objects, and women in games are always relegated to secondary or unimportant roles. Well, my answer to these claims, and any like them, are twofold. First off, this is not sexist, and neither is this, or even this. While women in games can often be found scantily clad, to say the least, the inclusion of sexy, impossibly well-proportioned women in games is not a form of sexism. As a matter of fact, if we're following the textbook definitions, this would fall under the banner of misrepresentation, as we can all agree that most women do not look like this. Or most human beings, really. What the shit were these people thinking? Anyways, appreciating the female form is a trait that's shared among all straight men. To put it bluntly, women are sexy, and we are genetically hardwired to desire the female body. Developers taking advantage of or even celebrating this fact aren't being sexist. Now, they may very well be capitalizing on an easy marketing campaign and at worst pandering, but are definitely not sexist. Depicting women being sexy is not slander or degrading. We as men are indeed attracted to women, and just like gazing on a work of art does not decrease its value, gazing on a beautiful woman, whether it's real or virtual, is not sexism. And to those of you that want a strong woman to be included in your games, I would caution you to take a look at almost every Final Fantasy, the Metroid series, Beyond Good and Evil, Still Life, and literally hundreds of others. Not only are women being represented as strong and important characters in games, but it's been that way since the beginning of the NES era. My second argument against this claim is that it's more complicated than a lot of the vocal opposition like to admit. Nowadays, polls have gamers split almost right down the middle, with males at 52% and females at 48%, and that's a great thing, truly, but it hasn't always been that way. When home console and PC gaming first hit its stride, it was unarguably dominated by young men. Knowing this fact, game developers made games that would appeal to such an audience. Fighting to rescue the princess or win the affection of that pretty girl, these things are typically seen as demeaning and offensive by faux feminists like the con woman extraordinaire Miss Anita Sarkeesian. P.S. This video will not be getting into any discussion about her, as I don't want to rescue her from the obscurity that she's falling into. Anyways, these tactics were nothing more than fun fantasies that let little boys live in a world where girls not only wanted them around, but needed them and appreciated their bravery. Many of these young gamers didn't exactly have that picturesque American life. At the time, gaming was a retreat for awkward or unpopular kids who would benefit the most from a trip outside their own world. For many of us, video games were an escape from ourselves, a chance to be something better, maybe a medieval warrior or a secret agent that all the pretty girls were attracted to. Now, I can admit that this market still exists, but gaming as a scene has evolved into a mainstream phenomenon, and game development often sticks to these tried and true blueprints. Those that find Mario rescuing Princess Peach to be offensive to their feminist beliefs are putting a lot of deep thought and conjecture into a simple and innocent idea. For those of you that are watching that are feminists, let me assure you, I am a staunch supporter of equality between the sexes, or the races, or the religions. I hold my wife in the highest esteem and find the struggle of real, honest feminists inspiring. That being said, I'm also a gamer, one that through this very YouTube channel have had the absolute pleasure of connecting with thousands of other gamers out there and making real life friendships with them. Let me assure you, you are welcome in gaming, but most of all, you're welcome in games. As a matter of fact, the footage you've been watching throughout this entire video has been taken from games that feature strong female protagonists, and in the near future, I can assure you there will be many more. For those of you that demand the games industry give you more strong female leads, we support you. There is nothing wrong with wanting to be more represented in the medium you love, but make sure you understand that a lack thereof is not a form of sexism. I understand that there are a select few that choose to harass you, and there are cringeworthy games that actually do celebrate the mistreatment of women. But much like any group, we have our thugs and extremists. As a group, we gamers are damn accepting. Please don't let the loudmouths on either side of this debate sway your opinion. Instead, pick up a controller, dig in, and get to know us. I think you'll be pleased with what you find. Alright guys, thanks for checking out another episode of Talking Points. If you feel the extreme need to disagree with someone, well, it's your lucky day. I put a couple of my more controversial Talking Points episodes right here, and feel free to give them a watch. Now, if you're new to the channel, first off, hey, how's it going? Second, feel free to subscribe and check out more of my other videos. And if you want, you can get in touch with me on Facebook or Twitter. And that's about it, so I'll see you guys later.